Ink and Echoes presents
The night I became his wife was the night I lost everything I ever loved. They decorated the palace with 1,000 flowers, 1,000 candles, 1,000 smiles, but not one of them was mine. The wedding was grand. Everyone smiled. Everyone celebrated. Everyone except me. I walked through those golden halls, and all I could think was, how did I get here when my heart was somewhere else entirely? I told myself I was strong enough to forget him, strong enough to face this room, strong enough to face him. Ethan, were you looking at the same moon tonight? Did you think of me, or did you finally let go? Let me tell you how it began, how I fell, and how I lost everything in a single moment of someone else's fear. I used to sneak out sometimes just to breathe, just to feel like a girl and not a princess. That day was like any other, until it wasn't. I wasn't looking where I was going, and neither was he. And somehow, that was the beginning of everything.
Whoa, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Neither was I. Are you new here? I haven't seen you before.
Something like that.
How did you manage to wander so far from what you know? I am glad our paths crossed today.
And just like that, without warning, I fell. But that was then, and this is now. And now, I am someone's wife who loves someone else. And the cruelest part, he knew nothing, and I was about to tell him everything.
You look beautiful today.
Rowan, there is something I need to tell you.
What is it?
Before this wedding, before all of this, there was someone I loved, someone someone who was not you.
His name.
What?
I said his name.
Ethan.
I will not touch you, Seraphine. Not tonight. Not ever. Unless you ask me to.
Rowan,
But this marriage will continue. You will stand beside me at every event. You will smile when they are watching. You will be my princess in their eyes. My parents will never know what you just told me. In this room, you make the rules. But outside that door, we are husband and wife.
Why?
Get some rest.
he asked for nothing, expected nothing, and in that moment, I didn't know if that made me feel relieved or more broken than before. This was our first night, as husband and wife, two strangers, in a palace made of gold and silence. He never slept. I know, because I never slept either. We spent our first night as husband and wife, strangers in the same bed, breathing the same air, and feeling nothing but distance.
She loves someone else. She told me herself, and somehow I already knew. And it still broke something in me that I didn't know was still whole.
Breakfast is at 8. Do not be late.
He left without looking at me, and somehow that was worse than anything he could have said. I sat in that empty room, and I thought of Ethan, the way he used to say good morning, like it was the best part of his day. And then I looked at this room and remembered, this is my life now.
Get up, Seraphine. Just get up.
Ah, our newlyweds. You both look wonderful.
Good morning, Seraphine. I trust you rested well?
I rested well, thank you. It is a lovely morning.
She smiled for them, and for 1 second, I forgot it wasn't for me.
Rowan, you must show our daughter to the East Gardens today. She has not seen them yet.
Of course. She will love them.
I look forward to it.
He said it so easily, like we were already something we were not.
That is...
You didn't have to do that.
Do what?
Act like we are. You know what I mean?
My parents were watching. That is all it was.
I don't know why that answer hurt. It was the right answer. It was exactly what I wanted him to say. So why did it feel like something closing?
Do you ever wish things were different?
Wishes cannot change what has already happened.
And in that moment, I realized something. He wasn't just cold. He was careful, like someone who had learned that wanting things only leads to losing them. And somehow, I understood that feeling more than I wanted to.
She asked if I wish things were different. If she knew how different I wish things were, she would never look at me like that again. So I said nothing, the way I always say nothing. She walks like she is carrying something heavy, and I want to ask what it is, but I already know. It has a name, and it is not mine.
There is a royal event tomorrow evening. We leave at 7.
I will be ready.
You did well today.
4 words. That was all. You did well today, and I don't know why. Those 4 words made me want to cry more than anything else had.
I should not have said that, but she looked so tired, and I had nothing else to give her.
Rowan. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm sorry.
I don't know if he heard me. I don't know if it mattered. But that night, for the first time, I fell asleep before him. And maybe, just maybe, that was something.
I heard you. Every word. And you have nothing to be sorry for. Nothing at all.
Thank you for...
They were going to watch us tonight, the entire kingdom, waiting to see the prince and his new bride, waiting to see love. And we were going to give them a performance. Neither of us had rehearsed.
The carriage is ready.
Give me a moment, I'll be right there.
She looked like starlight, and I had to look away, because if I didn't, I would have said something I could never take back.
We walked in together, and the room went quiet for just a moment. And then they applauded, and I smiled, and he smiled, and no one in that room had any idea that we were 2 strangers pretending to be in love.
She is extraordinary at this. She smiles, and the whole room believes her. I wonder sometimes if she ever smiled to him like that, and I hate myself for wondering.
Your bride is stunning. You must be very happy. More than I can say.
He said it so smoothly, like it cost him nothing, and somehow that was the loneliest thing I had ever heard.
You're very good at this.
At what?
Pretending.
So are you.
Is it always going to be like this?
Like what? Like...
This.
I don't know, Anya.
She asked if it will always be like this, and I wanted to tell her it doesn't have to be, but that would mean admitting something I am not ready to admit.
I don't know. 3 words. And somehow they meant more than everything else, because they were real. The ride home was quiet, but a different quiet than before. Not the silence of 2 strangers, more like the silence of 2 people who are starting to notice each other.
You really look beautiful today. And everyone was telling about how lucky I am.
I haven't seen it yet.
Seen what?
Happiness. In your eyes. Not once since you came here. Why didn't he marry you? Why didn't he marry you? What made him leave?
He was afraid. I asked him to run with me, to choose me over everything. And he couldn't. So he didn't.
Do you still love him?
He asked me the one question I wasn't ready to answer, not because I didn't know, but because saying it out loud would make it real. And I wasn't ready for it to be real.
She didn't answer, and somehow that was worse than any yes could have been.
Rowan, thank you for tonight.
You don't need to thank me.
I know, but I wanted to.
Sleep well, Seraphine. Good night.
He said my name, just my name, and something about the way he said it made me think that maybe he wasn't as far away as I thought.
She thanked me. She didn't have to, but she wanted to. I will remember that. When everything else is dark, I will remember that she wanted to.
I woke up warm that morning, and for 1 second, I forgot to move away. And in that 1 second, something felt almost normal.
She stayed for 3 seconds longer than usual. I counted. I will not tell her that I counted.
Another day began under the gilded ceilings, but the weight of the crown felt heavy even in the soft morning light.
Come with me. I want to show you something.
Where?
You'll see.
This is beautiful.
I come here when things get heavy, when I am very happy.
Or very sad.
I wanted to ask him, which one is it today? Are you happy? Then why? Are you sad? Then why? But I said nothing, because some questions you are not ready for the answer. I told myself I looked away, I did not look away.
She's smiling. She doesn't know she's smiling. I will remember this for a very long time.
I loved Ethan. I know I did, but sometimes I wonder, am I punishing Rowan?
We may need to address this militarily, Rowan. Understood, Father. I want you to lead the response if it comes to that.
For what Ethan did to me, because he never hurt me, not once. He just never learned how to show it.
How are you settling in? With the princess? Fine. She seems like a good woman. She is. You know, your mother chose her.
I know.
Your mother has never been wrong about people.
He thinks she chose well. I think she chose perfectly. And that is the problem.
And yet, I have seen something in his eyes, a light that he saves only for me. Something I never saw in Ethan's eyes, not even once, and I don't know what to do with that.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Did you want this marriage?
Does it matter now?
I suppose not.
I just wondered.
Did you? No. Then we have that in common.
No.
Is that supposed to be comforting?
I don't know what it's supposed to be.
I lied. When I said I didn't want this marriage, I wanted it more than anything I have ever wanted. But I wanted her to choose it, and she didn't. So now I live in the space between what I wanted and what is.
It was the strangest conversation. Two people admitting they didn't want each other, and somehow it felt more real than anything we had said before. Some people love quietly. She said it like it was nothing.
How are you finding it here?
It's beautiful. The palace is wonderful.
I didn't ask about the palace. Rowan is not easy. I know that. He never learned how to show what he feels.
Your Majesty, Ikoe.
You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. Just give him time.
Some people love loudly. Rowan has always loved quietly, but no less deeply.
But I kept hearing it, over and over. And I found myself looking at him differently after that. Not with love, not yet, but with something that hadn't been there before. Curiosity, maybe, or the beginning of understanding. And sometimes that is where everything starts.
The border situation has escalated. We have no choice but to respond with force. Rowan, you will lead the campaign. When do we leave? 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes.
How long will you be gone?
I don't know.
Will it be dangerous?
It's war, Seraphine.
That is not an answer.
Yes, It will be dangerous.
I don't know what I expected to feel. We were not in love. We were barely friends. But something about that word, dangerous, settled in my chest and didn't leave.
She asked if it would be dangerous. She didn't have to ask. She could have said nothing. But she asked, and I will carry that with me to wherever I am going.
This is Marcus. He is on duty every morning. If you need anything tied, and I mean anything tied, you go to him.
The moon looks so beautiful tonight.
Yes, it is. I can't stop staring.
I wasn't talking about the moon. I was never talking about the moon.
Is it important to go? What if you don't?
Don't. I'll come back. Always. Just for you.
2 weeks is not very long, but it is long enough to notice things you didn't notice before.
You will be received by the court in my absence. The Queen will guide you. You will be fine.
I know. Rowan,
Yes.
Come back.
I will.
She said, "Come back." Not come back safely. Not I'll miss you. Just come back. And somehow those 2 words were the most important thing anyone has ever said to me.
The tea is in the cupboard by the window. The blue one. You always look for it. And it's always there.
I know where the tea is.
I know.
He told me where the tea was, as if I didn't know, as if that was the most important thing he could say. And I stood there after he left, thinking, why did that feel like a goodbye? That was about so much more than tea.
I didn't know how to say what I wanted to say, so I said the only small true thing I could. The tea is in the cupboard by the window. Take care of yourself, please.
I didn't expect to notice the way his presence filled a room, even when he said nothing, even when he barely looked at me. Something about him being there made the palace feel less like a cage and more like a place where someone lived.
I also wrote back, one line at a time. The East Gardens are blooming. We are all well. Come back. The blue tea cupboard is fine.
He wrote to me, one line at a time, nothing important, nothing that meant anything on the surface. But he wrote to me, and I read each line more times than I should have.
Come back. She keeps saying it. Come back. Like she means it more each time.
You look for the messenger every morning.
I'm just staying informed
About the campaign. Of course.
He used to sit by this fountain when he was a boy. When something was bothering him, he never said what.
Was he always like this?
Quiet? From the day he was born. But he watches everything, remembers everything, every detail, every small thing.
He noticed you. Long before you noticed him.
Months passed, and something changed in me. Not suddenly, the way they say love is supposed to happen, but slowly, like a door you don't realize is opening, until one day you look, and it is already open, and you're standing on a threshold you don't quite recognize. I tried to think of Ethan one night, and I realized his face was becoming harder to see, not because I had forgotten him, but because another face had been there every day, in his place, without asking, without trying. I am well, 3 words, and I had read them 100 times. Wondering what was beneath them. I knew before anyone told me. The way you always know the things you are most afraid of.
Seraphine. There was a battle 3 days ago. Rowan's company was surrounded. They fought through the night, the report says. Rowan did not make it out. We are still waiting for confirmation. But wait.
I understand.
I sat on that bed, our bed, and I thought about a man I had never loved enough. When I had the chance, I thought about small pieces of paper with one line each. I thought about a blue tea cupboard, about gardens and fountains, about cold eyes that weren't really cold, about 4 words, "You did well today," and I cried. The way you cry for something you didn't know you had, until it was gone.
I know, my dear. I know. I never told him.
You didn't need to tell him. He knew. He always knew.
Rowan, I told you to come back.
I used to look at the moon and think of Ethan. But now, I looked at the moon and thought of Rowan. And I realized that somewhere between the T and the letters, and the one honest conversation, and the way he said my name, I had fallen without knowing it. The way he fell for me without me knowing it. And now we had both lost in the same terrible way.
The prince is alive. He was captured, not killed. The earlier report was an error, Tud, possibly enemy deception. We are working to retrieve him. He is alive.
He's alive. I can't believe it. He's really alive.
He was alive. They had lied. The enemies had sent false information to break the kingdom's spirit. And it had worked. But he was alive, and I sat there with that letter against my chest, and I knew, without any more wondering, without any more confusion, I knew what I felt, even if it was too late to say it, even if he would never know. I knew. I had a secret now, the same kind of secret he had been carrying since the beginning, and I finally understood what it costs to love someone quietly, to hold it inside, because saying it would change everything, and you're not ready for everything to change. Ethan was a chapter, a beautiful, painful chapter, and I will always carry something of him. But a chapter is not a whole story, and I think I finally understand the difference.
Did you ever wonder why I arranged this wedding the way I did?
It was at the Winter Council, 2 years before the wedding. You were there with your father. You don't remember. But Rowan was watching you the entire evening. He didn't speak to you. He never does things like that. But he watched you.
And I watched him watch you. And that was all I needed.
You arranged our marriage because of one evening?
I arranged your marriage because of the look on my son's face.
I have never seen him look at anything the way he looked at you.
I may have overstepped, I know that, but I would do it again. Does he know that you arranged it for this reason? No. He thinks it was political.
He has been carrying all of this. Alone.
Yes.
He fell for me before I even knew he existed, and he never told me. He just rearranged his whole life around my comfort and asked for nothing. And I had spent months missing someone else right in front of him, and he never made me feel guilty for it. Not once. What kind of person does that? What kind of love does that? The stars here are very bright, and I had read it and thought, what a strange thing to write. But now I think he was telling me he was thinking of me, in the only way he knew how, without actually saying it, the way he did everything, quietly, secretly, with one hand always ready, and never asking to be held back. She sets down the letter.
I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna tell him.
He looked different, and exactly the same, and I had practiced what I would say 100 times, but standing there, looking at him, every word left me.
You look well.
You don't.
Fair.
Rowan,
You don't have to say anything.
I want to. I'm glad you came back.
I told you I would.
I know.
I had 3 words that could have changed everything, and I swallowed them and smiled instead. And I told myself, there is time. There is still time.
She looked at me like she had something to say. And then she didn't say it. And I know that feeling. I know it very well. So, I did not push. I never push. Maybe that is our problem. We are both so careful with each other, that we never say the thing that matters.
We were different after he came back. Not lovers, but not strangers anymore. Something in between that didn't have a name, but felt like something precious. Something I was afraid to name, in case naming it would break it.
You should sleep. It's late.
I think he almost, and then he didn't. And I almost reached back, and then I didn't. And we were both so careful, so endlessly, terribly careful, that we let the moment pass, the way we always did.
I almost touched her face. I almost said everything. But she deserves someone who can give her everything freely. Not someone half afraid of his own feelings. So I stopped. The way I always stop.
Rowan, I'm glad we ended up here, together.
So am I.
There is time. I kept telling myself, there is still time. We have so much time.
The kingdom needs an heir, Rowan. You understand that?
We only say this because we love you both. And we want the succession to be secure.
Understood, Father. It's my wish as well. Not just the kingdom's.
They're right, you know. A royal family needs an heir.
I know. And I told them it's my wish as well. But it's all on you.
What we agreed.
About not.
About this room being. But we both know that was never going to be permanent.
Do you truly want this? A child?
A child.
Ours?
Yes. Because somewhere along the way, this stopped feeling like an arrangement to me.
I had stopped thinking about what I had lost and started thinking about what was here. And he was here. He had always been here, quietly, faithfully, here.
She looked at me and said yes. And it was the most terrifying and the most beautiful word anyone has ever said to me.
Rowan.
Yes. Is there anything you want to say?
We are going to have a child.
Are you well?
Yes. I'm well, Rowan.
Good, that's what I want.
Good, that's all I want. He said good. And I had never heard so much feeling in one sentence.
A child. Our child. I did not know I wanted this so much until she said it. And now it is the thing I want most in the world. To give her this. To give our child a life they will love.
Rest is important now. Let her sleep when she's tired.
He never said, I love you. But he slept closer and woke when I woke and learned everything the healers told him. And I thought, this is what he sounds like when he loves quietly, completely, without needing to be heard.
How are you feeling?
Tired. But good. Oh.
What? What is it?
Do you want to feel our baby?
Was that?
Our baby's first kick.
Hello there.
I had spent so long being careful with my words, and in that moment, I didn't need any, because some things don't need to be said. They just need to be felt.
I felt our child move for the first time. And in that moment, I forgot to be careful. I forgot to hold anything back. I was just a father, feeling his child, and a husband, watching his wife smile.
The last few weeks, he was always there, in the same room, not hovering, just present, like he was memorizing something I didn't know then, that maybe he was.
Something is wrong. I don't know how I know. The healers say everything is fine. But something in me has been afraid for weeks, and I don't know what to do with that fear except stay close and hope it means nothing.
What do you want to name her?
How do you know it's a girl?
I just know it's a girl.
What do you want to name her?
Something that sounds like light.
Lira. I like the sound of that.
Lira. Rowan.
Yes.
Whatever happens, take care of her.
What do you mean, whatever happens?
Nothing. I just mean, she's going to need you.
She's gonna need both of us.
I didn't tell him I was afraid. I didn't want him to be afraid. I thought I was protecting him. But love has a way of speaking, even when we don't.
She took my hand. She has never taken my hand before. And I held it like it was the most valuable thing I had ever held. Because it was. She is. Everything is fine. The healers said everything is fine. She is strong. She has always been stronger than she looks. Everything is fine.
Is she?
She is perfect. She is here. She is well.
Lira.
Yes. Lira.
Rowan.
She was going to say something. I felt it. The way I always felt when she was about to say something real. And now, I will never know. I will never know. And that is the thing that will stay with me. Long after everything else fades. Not the grief. Not the loss. But those two words. Rowan, and the silence after.
Hello, Lira.
She has her eyes. She has her mother's eyes. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure she never has to wonder if she is loved, because her mother never knew. And I will not let that happen again. Not to her.
What is it?
A starflower, Kay. Mara says they only grow in one corner of the garden.
Your mother would have loved this.
Tell me about her.
She had your eyes. She was braver than she knew. She always looked for the moon.
Did she love you?
I think she did. Toward the end.
Did you love her?
Yes. From the beginning.
He loved me from the beginning, and I loved him too late, and neither of us said it. And I think about that sometimes. How much we left unspoken. How many moments we almost, but didn't, because we were careful, or afraid, or simply running out of time, without knowing it.
Have you thought about remarrying?
No, I haven't.
Rowan, please.
No. She was my wife.
She is Lira's mother. That does not change.
People think I grieve because I lost her. And I do. But what I carry most is the feeling of something unfinished. Like a sentence that ends in the middle. Rowan, I will hear that for the rest of my life. And I will never know what came next. And maybe that is my punishment for never saying it first.
Papa, was Mama sad when she married you?
Yes. For a while.
And then?
And then she wasn't.
I'm glad she wasn't sad.
So am I.
Papa.
Yes, sweetheart?
She loved you. I think she did.
What makes you say that?
Because the way you talk about her is the way Mara talks about the people she loves. And love goes both ways, doesn't it?
Yes, my darling, I believe it does.
Love goes both ways. She said that like it was simple, like it was obvious. And maybe she's right. Maybe Seraphine did. Maybe she was trying to tell me. At the end, Rowan, maybe those two words were, maybe they were.
I think he knows. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he will never know for certain. And maybe that is the cruelest part of an unspoken love, that it leaves both people wondering for the rest of their lives what might have been if only they had said the thing they most needed to say.
I hope you knew.
He fell first, and I fell too late. And we never said it, but I think, in the end, we both knew. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.
Love that goes unspoken still counts. It lives here.
Some love stories end before they begin. Some hearts speak only in silence. And some people leave without ever knowing they were loved. But love that goes unspoken is still love. It still counts. It always counts.
Thank you for watching. Until our next adventure, I'll see you in the next episode.